No, not that. back with Lakota West football for the first time in just a little under a year here on Lakota West Student Broadcasting. It's a new year. Rivalries, however, staying the same. The St. Xavier Bombers, the Week 1 opening opponent for your Lakota West Firebirds here at RDI Stadium. As we talk about the new faces here, you may remember me from last year. I'm Nick Johnson. I'll be taking you along the play-by-play throughout this year. But alongside me, we got new color man, and it is Jordan Houck. Jordan, how is that headset fitting you? You feeling okay up here?
I'm feeling A-okay. How you doing, Nick?
I am doing just fine, but how about you? This has got to be a big game for you. You played with these Firebirds last year. You know exactly what they're feeling like with this rivalry opponent coming up in Week 1 of all places on the schedule to play this team. How did it feel last year, and how do you think it's going to feel for these guys this year?
Oh, it's just an adrenaline rush. Once the blood kicks in, I mean, it's just there's no stopping. And not only this, but they got the gauntlet on their schedule. These first 3 games coming up are going to be absolutely essential for the rest of the year. So, I mean, I'm just saying, once the adrenaline kicks in, you don't feel anything. You just play.
So I'll ask you again. You've been playing in this St. Xavier Bombers series with these Firebirds. The series tied at 3 apiece. We'll get into the full breakdown here in just a few moments, but you know how tightly contested this series is, and for now, this game is the rubber match. Of course, these two coaches, they're going to want to schedule each other as long as they can on that Week 1 schedule. But for now, either team has a chance to go up 4-3 in the series. What do you think it means to this team to go after and chase that series lead?
Oh, it's big time. These are 2 legendary coaches, 2 legendary programs, really. I mean, these are turning into it's a statement football game. This is a statement football game. Everybody's going to be watching this around Ohio. I mean, this is the St. X team, and this is the Lakota West team. These are 2 teams battling for a state title, and this is Week 1, so you don't know what to expect. You know, anything could go, anything can happen. You know, it's Week 1. The football air is in the air,
and we saw just how weird and funky Week 1 can be last year against St. X. That game at Firebird Field, you couldn't have asked for a better Week 1 opener. I mean, that game coming down to the wire. Ben Minnick able to make that snag in the end zone to take this one home for the Firebirds. Today, we'll see if it gets closely contested again, but a lot of that going to have to do with the defense of these Firebirds. You played on this defense last year, and that was a very, very tight-knit group, and it's still very tight-knit this year despite those losses. So what can you tell us about this unit?
Well, this is a tight-knit unit. I mean, these guys on defense are just absolutely locked down. We got a lot of returning guys, some guys that need to step up and fill these spots. But I'm fully confident 1,000% in these guys, and they've been trained really well. And these coaching staff, especially defensive coaches, have just done a phenomenal job with all these guys.
So you look at the depth chart here for Lakota West. Really, the only 2 names that we haven't seen much of from these Firebirds so far this year is going to be safety Finn Mason, wearing number 20 for the Firebirds, and nose tackle 6'1", 283 Jonas Griffith on the line up the middle. Those are really the only 2 question marks to look out for. But believe me, we've got plenty of time to talk defense with this Firebirds team. Let's go to this really the true story for today, the one that everyone's going to be keeping an eye out for. Jordan, who is going to be under center for these Firebirds here tonight?
Well, it was just announced the other day, and it is going to be the true freshman. It's Jackson Smith taking the ball under center tonight in his first true high school game under the lights in Week 1.
All right, so obviously he's a freshman. Haven't seen a ton from him. He was lighting up defenses for Lakota Plains Junior School. Obviously, junior high football and high school football wildly different, especially when you're going up a very well-prepared, very well-coached St. Xavier Bomber team. So we were able to get an interview with Coach Bolden earlier this week. We're going to take you to that interview now here on the pregame show to get all of his thoughts on this Week 1 matchup. All right, so we're here with Coach Bolden. Thank you for joining us on the pregame show here today. A couple questions for you, obviously coming up on a very big season for the Firebirds. I mean, last year, you look at all the talent the team had, a lot of expectations, and this year, there were a couple losses, but there's still a lot of talent there. And I can tell what your answer is going to be before I even ask this question. But there seem to be 2 mindsets heading into this season for West fans, one of which is trust the coaching staff. You know, you lose Mitch, you lose, all those D1 commits on defense, like too many to name, Malik, Ben, Josh, all those guys. And then the other thought is because we lost those guys, the sky seems to be falling and West might not be able to win football games. So I know your answer, so why should they trust in this coaching staff this year?
Well, I would say more trust the process too, not just the coaching staff. It's the whole process and everything involved with it. I mean, it's a proven formula. You are correct. We lost a lot of talent, but we have a lot of talent back. We just have some inexperienced talent at this point, and that's the biggest hurdle, the biggest obstacle for us early on this year. Yes, losing Malik and Ben and Josh was big for us on the back end defensively. We moved Tabron back, which helps. We have Finn Mason, who's stepped in, brilliant football kid. Bakari back from the knee injury, who's an athlete that really helps, and then Drew back at corner. So we're still talented back there, but what helps, I think we're better this year. I don't know, but we're more experienced this year, which should lead us to be better on the front part of our defense and our front seven. So I'm excited about that. The defense on this team, much like a lot of my teams, will be the strength of this team. They'll carry us early, and hopefully they can create some turnovers and things to kind of help out an inexperienced offense.
In terms of dealing with those, the sky is falling, people,
Sure.
West isn't going to be able to win.
Yeah.
How much stuff is printed out and hanging in that weight room?
Oh yeah, listen, I told the kids, I said, you just got to trust the process, believe in each other, and we got all we need. There's no question about that. It's funny how, you go into a scrimmage, and it's not like you prepare for a team and things like that. You scrimmage a really good team, and we just had a really bad offensive performance. It's a totally different game if the whistle's not blown on a blocked field goal and things like that. But scrimmages are scrimmages. You do them for a reason. We probably threw more than we would throw, but we're trying to evaluate quarterbacks, and I don't put much stock into that stuff. So if there's any of those naysayers and any of those people freaking out, it's probably after that. And was it Aaron Rodgers, whoever, that said relax? You know what I mean? Was that Aaron Rodgers that said that? So. I believe so. Yeah. So I will just tell everybody, let's relax. Now, with that being said, it doesn't get any easier week one. Going to St. X in front of thousands of people with a inexperienced quarterback and offensive line, but we'll get it figured out.
So in terms of knowing the game, you've been around coaching for a while. You're entering year 17 as a head coach, and you've had a winning season in 16 consecutive seasons. You have not had a losing season. So when you look back at that, the metaphorical trophy room, all the players you've had go
Sure.
D1, all the conference titles, everything you've won, what's it like to kind of look back where you are now, just kind of reminisce?
It's always cool. The wins and all that stuff's really neat, but I've always told people, and it's unfortunate, it's my cross to bear, that the fear of losing drives me way more than the thrill of winning, and that's unfortunate, but that is how it is, and I'm sure there's probably some other head coaches out there that can relate to that. But no, that stuff's cool to look back on. The wins and all that are great, but I think that the kids and the coaches that I have been through that journey with, that's the stuff that sticks out to me the most, and the time that I got to spend with them during that process. That's probably the stuff that I always reflect back on the most.
So we've kind of touched on it a little bit here today, but you've got another kid coming up that you're going to be able to hopefully turn into the next Mitch Bolden,
Sure,
all those
yeah.
other big quarterbacks you've brought up. Jackson Smith, freshman, he will be taking the reins on this West offense starting week one. So what can we expect from him this year?
Well, it was one of those things. We had four young men competing for the quarterback spot all throughout the preseason. In my world and the business model in my coaching world that I've always subscribed to is that, I always tell the older kids, I said, you have to separate from the younger kids. If everything's equal on and off the field, in the classroom, out of the classroom, in the hallways, in the community, on the football field, if everything's equal, I can get more years out of a kid, than the older kid. You got to go with the younger kid. And that's just the business model that I've always done. The older kids get the first chance to separate themselves. So, we haven't had great play there. It's been inconsistent. It's been really good at times throughout our camp. And our scrimmages, but you know, I think Jackson, it'll be tough for him week one for sure. There's no question about it, but he'll get better and better each week and each game and things like that. And he'll have a very, very bright future here at Lakota West. There'll be no doubt about that. I mean, he is he wants to be a quarterback. That's all he wants to be, and he focuses and he works hard, does everything that he needs to do it. So you know, but those other young guys are ready. You know, we'll have a package for Sam. He's kind of more of our running threat at the quarterback and things like that. That's kind of what we missed where, you know, with Mitch last year, we had such a factor of him being able to throw it and run it. Well, we're kind of limited there in terms of with Jackson, in terms of just being a 14-year-old kid and big enough yet to take the pounding that Mitch did. So we'll have to limit some things there. But he's got a special type arm. But that's when Sam will come into play and some other stuff we do. So they just all got to be ready. You know, and listen, in my world, everything's a competition, you know, week in and week out. There's probably maybe a handful of the kids on this team that have solidified who they are and have earned that right. But they know they're always competing too. But everything's a competition week in and week out, even throughout the season.
So Lakota West would know this better than anybody, but when you're preparing for St. X, that is an incredibly coached team. They know how to prepare.
Yeah.
So when working with a freshman quarterback, how much of a different approach are you taking?
Well, a lot of it has to be, I mean, that atmosphere, you know, I've been fortunate enough to coach against those teams. I think somebody told me this would be maybe the 24th time as a head coach in just 17 years. That's pretty cool. But, yeah, you have to be prepared for that atmosphere. The talent that they have is one thing, and it's disciplined talent. And then the coaches do a tremendous job. They have a lot of them. They're great minds. Coach Speck has a great football mind, and the offensive coordinator and the D coordinator. So they're going to do a great job. But then you also have to add that factor of when you go there, that atmosphere. There's thousands of people. Their student section is like no other. It's absolutely amazing. It's a really neat, cool environment. I wish everyone would get to experience at least once. So, but you know, I told the kids we'll soak it up for a few seconds, and then we'll just cut it loose and do our thing, and hopefully our thing's good enough.
So when taking a look at this defense, obviously we talk about what West lost, but there's still a lot that didn't leave. Jacob Asbeck, Tabron, Micah, all these guys.
Yeah.
But specifically, Tabron is one I wanted to ask you about. With him moving back to safety, a position that he knows how to play very well, he hasn't played there recently in games.
Sure.
Are you expecting kind of a transition back, or do you think he'll be able to pick it up?
He's athletic. I mean, there's always going to be a transition to it. He's athletic enough, so it should be a smooth transition, but you'll always have some things here and there because different responsibilities, different different assignments and things like that. So you got to be able to learn the new assignments and things like that. So yeah, there'll be a little bit, but his athleticism will make up for any learning curve.
All right. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to join us.
Absolutely. Are we doing this every week, or how are we going to do this? Have you guys decided what we're doing? We're making this happen.
If you want to talk to us every week, we gladly take it.
Yeah, we can make it happen. This nice setup you guys got rolling. So yeah, I appreciate all you guys do, Nick. You guys are doing a heck of a job, and you know, like I said, hopefully we're going to cut it loose Monday night or Friday night, and hopefully our good's good enough. But if I know this, well, I think we're going to be pretty good early on. I've told some reporters, but I think as these inexperienced guys get some experience, we're going to be really good, get better and better each week.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And we are back from RDI Stadium here on North Bend Road at St. Xavier High School. As always, I am Nick Johnson on the mic, bringing you the play-by-play tonight. Alongside me, our new color man, Jordan Hauk, the former Lakota West linebacker. And we talked a little bit about this rivalry earlier, but we are going to take a little bit of dive into the football stuff, the technicalities, what you're going to be looking for in this matchup. And we're gonna take a look at the St. Xavier quarterback here. We talked a little bit about Jackson Smith, the man lining up under center for Lakota West tonight, the freshman. But Chase Herbstreet, the 6'2", 190 junior, lining up under center for the St. Xavier offense. He did play a ton last year, but what can you say about him, Jordan?
Like you said, I mean, he didn't play a ton last year, but he won that starting job fair and square for this X team, and he's looking to lead them. And they got a lot of weapons, and we don't know what to expect out of this. I'm going to be honest. We don't know what to expect. So this is a statement game for the whole offense, really. But Chase Herbstreet individually, this is a statement game for him.
As you mentioned, a statement game for the St. X offense, but also a statement game for the Lakota West defense. And we talked a little about that earlier. We talked about it in the Bolden interview, and we were very fortunate enough to sit down with Lakota West linebacker Micah Markley, who will be out one of the starters on the field tonight. We're going to take you down to that interview before we get back down on the field with all the coverage of tonight's game.
All right, so we're here with Micah Markley on our pregame show now, and Micah, thank you for joining us. Obviously, we're looking forward to a great year of Lakota West football, and you're going to be a big part of it on the defense.
Yep, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
So you are a returning starter on defense this year, and you look at the linebacker core that West has had last year, this year. I mean, that is a big honor to be one of those guys. So to be on a defense with so much talent, both last year and this year, what does it mean to you as a football player?
Oh, it means so much. It's just great being a part of it. Everything is it's all being able to rely on your brothers and your players out there, and being a part of that group is just so special, and it helps you play to the next level.
So when you take a look back to last year and you look at, Malik, Ben, Josh, all these guys that went D1, and even your freshman year when you had guys like Jair and Alex here, what did it mean to you to be able to kind of grow alongside those guys?
Oh, it meant so much in every aspect of the game, from the weight room to communication to even just play style. It meant so much, and it helped me grow as a football player. I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for those guys.
So, I mean, do you still keep in contact with any of them? Are you still learning from them? Like, how are they still helping you today?
I am. I'm in contact with most of them. Just shooting them text. They talk about what's going on, what's going on in their life, and all that stuff, and it's great to hear from them. And it just helps me grow as a person and a football player.
So we talked about this with Coach Bolden as well, but you look at the team last year and there was a ton of talent, and of course teams like that can be hard to replicate, but you still look at the team that West has this year and there's still a ton of talent on there, although you look at some of the key losses that West had, and I know some people are a bit skeptical. So I know this team knows that they can get back to where they were last year, so what are you guys doing to kind of solidify that spot at not just the top of the GMC, but one of the top teams in Ohio?
We did lose a lot, but I think this year we still have a ton of talent. And this year we're focusing on more as playing as a team. And we've been with each other as a unit, and we've been with each other, outside of football, just bonding and trying to figure out, how we're going to be able to communicate with each other and just feel as one. So I think that's been really big for us.
Chemistry-wise, it looks like the defense, the core of it seemed to stay together. So the chemistry was a big part of it last year. And I mean, you did lose a couple of guys, but is the chemistry for the most part the same?
Yeah, I think it is. I think we have really good chemistry this year, and I'm excited to see how that plays out on the field.
So when you take a look back last year, obviously a ton of talent didn't end the way West wanted it to. But I know that loss to Moeller, especially the second time, really does sting. It stings when you're not a player. It stung the whole school. So that mindset, everything you took away from that game, how is it a building block for this year? How is it contributing to your play style?
It's just made us really hungry. You can see it in the weight room, even, a couple weeks after that last game. We are so hungry to just get back and be able to win a lot of games this year. It's helped us so much through the summer, because every time, we hear about it and all that stuff, we come out so hungry and we work so much harder.
Well, you're playing another GCL school week 1 this year, a big rival as of late for Lakota West. Since, the big game in Mitch's freshman year, 3-3 against each other, St. X. This is the rubber match for now. Who knows how far down the road this rivalry is going to continue. But what does it mean to be playing this rival in such a big week 1 game?
It means everything to me, because, it just helps us prepare all summer, knowing that we've got this big, huge matchup week 1. And, we just have to work that much harder to be able to come out and perform and win the first game of the season, because this game is huge for the rest of the season and rankings and all that stuff. So I mean, we know we have to be able to go out there and compete at our top level. So we have to put all the work in all summer against, our own team and then scrimmages and make sure we're ready to go out there and beat St. X.
So, as close as the game was last year with Fairfield, you come up on Fairfield week 3 this year. And I know a lot of people are looking to Fairfield to be that main competition for Lakota West in the GMC this year. So, what does it mean to kind of have more of a rivalry with the GMC team than you've had in past years in terms of competitiveness?
I like it. I think it brings a lot of opportunity to us, just being able to play a lot more, competition in a regular season game, because it helps us for the playoffs, especially playing in close games. So I like it, and I'm excited to see what happens with that game.
All right, well, thank you for joining us. If there's anything you'd like to say, you have the floor to speak to Firebird Nation.
Firebird Nation, I'm excited to get out there and be able to play for you guys. I'm going to give it my all for you guys, and hopefully we win a lot of games this season.
All right, thank you for joining us.
Yep, thank you.
Oh, the places we wish we could be right now. Unfortunately, the Firebirds not opening up at home at Firebird Field, but we have an incredible matchup here for you tonight here at RDI Stadium at St. Xavier High School. The team's getting ready to run out of the tunnel here as we are about under 4 minutes to kick off here at St. X. I'm Nick Johnson taking you through the play-by-play alongside Jordan Houck. Jordan, we've got some keys to the game to go over here before we get into this big matchup. So what are we looking for here in tonight's contest?
Well, what we're looking for, Nick, is quarterback play off the rip. Quarterback play is essential from both sides. We got Chase Herbstreit, an unproven starter, coming into week 1, and a true freshman. And the series is tied 3-3 since 2018, so this is a pretty big game. Both sides of the ball are going to want it. Every play is going to be hard, physical. Most recent result really was 16-13 West. That thriller last year was electric on the last play of the game. And another key to this game is the identity on offense, and that comes with offensive line and quarterback play as well. And we'll talk about our D1 offers real quick. We got a couple guys that are big D1 guys to look for during the game. You got Grant Bierman, Cam Thomas, Drew Minnick, Bakari Miles. These are the guys to watch during the game, as well as Luka Gilbert on that tight end side. So those are people you want to be looking for during the game.
Yeah, and let's take a look at Luka Gilbert here real quick and the offers that he's got. Just take a look at some of these big-time schools he's got. Ohio State, Michigan, you got big rivalry there. He's got offers from both schools, those Big Ten offers. He's also got SEC offers. The University of Kentucky's offering him, Virginia Tech, and these are just a few of the bigger names. Luka Gilbert became a huge name for the Firebirds over the summer. How do you think that's going to affect the way that these coaches decide to use him going forward this year?
Oh, it'll be big. He's a big name now. So all these defense coordinators are going to be – that's the guy to highlight right there. They're going to double cover him. They're going to have a safety over him at all times, and it's really just how you play the game beside him. And that's going to be through running the ball. It's going to be through screens. It's going to be through quick passes to him. So they can use the offense through him, but not actually going through him, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and of course, tight ends a little underutilized in their younger years in high school. Of course, Luka Gilbert is a junior. That's not exactly young when you think about, terms of age. But in high school, it's usually tight ends that have to wait until their senior year to see a lot of contribution. Luka Gilbert only had 1 touchdown last year. It came, of course, in the big game, the big finale against Moeller. So do you think we're going to see those touchdown numbers go up, or do you think maybe they get a little less conservative, but they still try and, keep them a little underused there? What do you think they're going to do?
I think they'll use him. I think they'll use him a lot this year, especially since he's got a lot of eyes watching him now with all these coaches and these and the offers. I mean, he's going to be a big target, obviously, because he's 6'8". You can't miss him out there. So he'll definitely get the ball a lot more this year, I should say, and he'll definitely get a lot more touches, but a lot more coverage going his way. But he'll get it.
Well, how about some of those other names on the Lakota West offense? Taking a look at, he did change numbers. It was 14, but now number 1, Brennan Remy, the senior wide receiver. What do you think we can expect from him this season? A big year last year, racked up over 100 yards week 1 against St. X.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's going to be targeted as well. I mean, he had a breakout year last year, so all these coaches, they're going to be on him. Eyes are going to be on him. And I think, everybody's ready to go.
And we are getting set to kick off here from RDI Stadium and St. Xavier High School. Lakota West teeing it up. St. X will receive the kickoff to begin. Here to kick things off for Lakota West, it will be number 19, their kicker. We do not have a name for number 19. I do believe that is a last-second jersey change, but I do believe that is Braden Benner wearing a different jersey number. As we are off here from RDI Stadium, muffed kickoff at the 5-yard line. It'll be returned up the St. X side. Here it goes past the 20. Micah Markley will be able to wrap him up at the 22-yard line on the return for St. Xavier there. Not exactly to the 25, so a good early stop for Lakota West.
All right, here we go. This is defense versus offense. This is what everybody wants to see, though. St. X offense versus the Lakota West defense. So this drive will be huge right here.
What do you think we're going to see from St. X here early on their first drive?
I think they'll feel it out. I think it'll be a lot of inside zone, a lot of inside runs. But, they're going to feel them out. But, yeah, this first drive, this is going to be exciting.
And we do get an official's timeout here early. The Zebras already getting involved with this game. Not exactly what you like to see early from a rivalry game, although we haven't obviously seen any flags thrown just yet. A bit early for that. We'll have to keep an eye on that one as we go. Of course, in these games, you have the player's perspective. How much better is it to just be able to play in these rivalry games without those flags?
Oh, it's great. I mean, you're playing just to play. You don't have to worry about the referees or anything. As here's a inside zone. Good
Chase
stop.
Herbstreit handed that one off to the running back over there, number 44 in the blue and white. That will be Jacob Britt, the sophomore running back, as we do not see Stephen Napier on the first carry here. Napier last year, 750 yards. He had a solid first week against Lakota West last year. Didn't pick up a touchdown, but had nearly 70 yards in that contest. Herbstreit, the handoff here. This one up the middle. Once again goes to Britt. Doesn't get that much out of it, and it is an early third down here for the St. Xavier Bombers.
Oh, yeah. This interior defensive line is also something to watch during the game. I mean, these guys just eat up everything that goes inside. So anything you see inside, they're feeling them out right now, but this is a big third down.
And, of course, we talked about him a little bit in the pregame. Really one of the only few new faces we see down there is on the defensive line wearing number 95, Jonas Griffith, 6'1", 283 in their nose tackle. Herbstreit will take to the shotgun here. He's got 4 receivers out wide. Motion across this one is Britt, the running back. Herbstreit back to pass, fires across the middle. Tight contested there from Micah Markley. The catch gets to about the 31-yard line, and it looks like St. X will be short of a first down just by a bit. And no, they're moving the chains, so they're going to give him the spot there, forward progression. St. X moving those chains on a big third down.
Yeah, that was great coverage. That was just a better pitch and catch right there. I mean, you couldn't put him in a better spot right there. But, again, this drive is feeling out process, so we'll see what happens right here.
Herbstreit, of course, we talked about it in the pregame, didn't have a ton of starting time last year until really the end of the year. So Lakota West hasn't seen a whole lot of him. Britt motions into the backfield here. Handoff from Herbstreit. This one ran to the right side up to about the 37, 38-yard line. Short gain of about 5 yards, maybe 4, depending on where they spot the football.
Yeah, that's a good play right there. Again, like I said, feeling out processes. They're going to go quick. They're hurrying up.
You see the snap here. Pump fake on the play action there from Herbstreit. Throws deep. This one to his tight end. And that is going to be a big-time game now inside the 30 of West territory. St. Xavier off to a phenomenal start here. I do apologize. That was not the tight end. That was number 80, Jack McClatchy, the senior receiver.
That was just a great play call. I mean, the coordinator, hurry up, run that, play action pass, caught safety's on their heels right there.
So a big pass early from Herbstreit after we saw St. X start a bit conservative early on. We'll see how this defense adjusts. Under center here, pitch back. This one to Britt, left side. Across the 25, gets to about the 24-yard line. As Lakota West holding them to a bit of a short gain on first down, a short gain much needed for this defense.
It's a good stop right there. I believe that was number 9. Is that Eli?
That is Gabriel Flores. He dropped
that's
the
right.
7 in 97.
Yeah.
Elijah Davis will wear number 7, taken
All
after
right.
Mitch Bolden this year.
Good to know.
Herbstreit in the backfield here. He has Britt behind him. 3 out wide for St. X to the right, 1 wide out left. Herbstreit takes the snap, fakes the handoff, throws out wide right. That is number 6 who's shedding a tackle there. Gets past Tabron. Bennie-Powell brought down on the 10-yard line. And a big gain for the Bombers there. That was number 12, Cam Taylor, on the big gain for St. X as they move the chains once again.
Again, caught the defense on their heels. Little first game jitters, but again, they're hurrying up.
Once again, going quick here. Quick pass out to the flat for Herbstreit there. It will go incomplete to Brady Bennett. So it will be 2nd and goal. St. X officially inside that 10-yard line. You see where those chains are spotted. Not so far inside the 10-yard line, so it's essentially 2nd and 10 without the first down.
That's right. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a pass right here. This is a pass territory right here.
You got to wonder with this rivalry matchup how long you think they've been scripting these opening drives. So far, St. X has been executed to perfection. We'll see what the Firebirds come up with here later. Herbstreit in the backfield, handoff up the middle. Here goes Britt, cuts to the right, to the end zone, reaches across. He dropped it, but I do believe, yes, he is in for the St. Xavier touchdown. The Bombers on the board here early, exactly what they wanted to do against these Firebirds, get the upper hand early. And we go back to the pregame. Our cameras were off at this time, but we did see the Firebirds run out to that midfield logo, have a bit of a rally on the X. You think that fueled the fire a little bit, Jordan?
Oh, yeah. I bet Speck went in there and got them guys fired up because, I mean, they look good on that drive, I will say. Oh, what is happening here?
This is a very odd formation here. Not entirely sure what they're going for. Looks like some sort of fake out as they will start to line up for a field goal. A little bit of trickeration going on here early in this rivalry contest. Out to kick this one, the senior kicker, Jake Sengia. Sengia boots it. It is up, and it is good. St. Xavier out to a 7-0 lead here early. We're going to take a quick timeout here from RDR Stadium. We'll be right back with the Firebirds' first drive of the 2023 football season. And we are back from RDI Stadium here at St. Xavier High School as the Firebirds getting set for their first offensive drive of the new football season. And we do have a new face here on this Firebirds offense. You'll see him wearing Brennan Remy's old number 14, and it will be Trey Barnett, the new transfer from Dixie Heights, who is in his junior year as he joins the Firebirds for what they hope to be a deep run kind of year.
Yeah, we don't know too much about Trey, but we know that he's a quick little guy. I mean, he's a speedy guy. He's a Brennan Remy comparison, I guess, if you had to give him a player comparison, but he'll be someone to watch on the offensive side.
St. X will choose to place the ball here on the right hash. Sengia getting ready to boot from the 40-yard line of Bombers territory. As we are off. Firebirds have ball for the first time this year. This one taken at about the 12-yard line. This is Giovanni Wilson cutting on that left sideline, working his way up to the 39-yard line. And the Firebirds starting with phenomenal field position on their first drive of the year.
Yeah, Coach Nichols always done a great job with special teams, but yeah, he's also somebody to watch. He's another quick little guy. I mean, he's a lightning bolt out there. He's going to be, let's see. Yeah, he's going to be on that H-back spot and slash wide receiver, so he'll definitely be getting some sweeps and some under routes, so we'll see what happens here.
We saw him play a lot of running back last year. As you mentioned, they did look to move him out to the slot this year. But let's turn our attention to the freshman here, number 10, Jackson Smith. His first snap as a Firebird. He's going to run this one out to the right side. This is caught by Luca Gilbert. Gets to about the 42-yard line, a gain of 3. 3-yard gain for your first varsity pass. Can't really complain about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. They're probably going to work him early here to get the jitters out. This is his first high school game, obviously, and a pretty big one at it. But you'll see a lot of quick passes, get his confidence up, and then maybe we'll see some shots down the field later in the drive or later in this quarter.
A lot of people tend to forget these are students, too. He's only been at the freshman campus for 2 days, and now he's already out here with juniors, seniors, playing varsity football. This one handed off up the middle. Junior Gonzalez fights across the 50 into Bombers territory. That's a Lakota West first down. They move the chains for the first time in this young season.
That's great blocking by the O-line there. I want to touch on the O-line a little bit. They're coming back. They've got no returning starters. So these are all younger guys. These are all guys that are unproven and have really no game experience. So that's something to watch during this game too. But so far, so good.
So we'll see Smith come out here after moving the chains for the first time. Gonzalez on that carry, doing a phenomenal job fighting forward. Here comes Giovanni Wilson and the jet sweep. They hand it off. Gets to about the 45 of Bombers territory before being knocked down by a mob of Bombers. St. X hasn't exactly been able to stop this offense. I don't want to speak too soon. We are 3 plays in, but it looks like this could be a pretty track race-like game.
Yeah, they're coming out all guns blazing. They're coming out. There's no feeling process here with this West offense. How X likes to feels the defense out with some inside runs, but there is no feeling out. It's guns blazing right now.
Smith in the backfield here to his right is Junior Gonzalez. Takes the snap. Throws out to Brendan Remy. Gets across the 45. Looks like a gain of about 2, where he gets knocked down at about the 43-yard line of Bombers territory. Looks like it's going to be about 3rd and 6 on the way. The first third down that Jackson Smith has had to overcome. And I do want to go back and talk about something I mentioned earlier. These opening drives, when you're facing a big rivalry like this week 1, you have all that time to prepare for them. How much scripting do you do on those opening drives? How much did you do last year with St. X? I mean, how much are you preparing for to come right out of hot?
You're really preparing for everything. But, I mean, all options are open right here. I mean, you just gotta do something to get past that 10-yard marker, no matter what it is, whether it's something in your bag or something that a new play. I mean, you just gotta go right here.
Gonzalez motions out left. Jackson Smith throw across the middle, nearly intercepted. It will be dropped by number 20. That is Drew Weber, the senior corner for St. Xavier. Near turnover there, but the Firebirds avoid disaster. And there is a flag in the backfield, and the Firebirds will be moving forward here. Can't exactly tell what that flag was. Not sure if you caught that, Jordan.
I think it was he was singled to the knees, so I mean, it might have been a chop, maybe. I don't know. I know you can't go for the knees.
Personal foul. Looks like roughing the passer or chop block. I can't really tell what that signal is. Yeah. I don't know if you can tell from the camera angles, but we are very high up here at St. X. Very much not used to that when we go back to Lakota West. So we're very excited to be at home next week. Well, let's just say that. St. X is fantastic, but we are not used to this angle. Smith working with a 1st and 10 here. Junior Gonzalez out in the backfield with him. He dropped the snap, and the possession markers are out. That looks to be a St. Xavier turnover, and it is. The Firebirds' first turnover of the year. We do apologize. That was not a flag. Those were possession markers. So the turnover there brings out the Bombers to about the 30-31-yard line of their own territory. Jackson Smith started out promising there. You think that's just a bit of nerves on that botch snap?
Yeah, that's just the risk that happens when you got just such a brand new offense. These are all new guys out there you got to remember. So that's a new center, that's a new quarterback working together and trying to get on the same page. So, stuff like that's going to happen. You just got to overcome it.
Carson Stanley is the man in that center slot for the Firebirds, 6'1", 284 junior. As you mentioned, a lot of these guys on the offensive line are new, but that didn't look like a botch snap. We'll just have to see that machine become a little more well-oiled as we get farther along in the season, as this gain is going to be a quick pass out to about the 40-yard line after the run. So St. X about a yard away from that first down marker spotted on the 41.
It's a good play call right there. Nice little simple pitch and catch to the outside, tunnel screen. Just gets those yards. That's about 9 yards right there.
I believe that was Brady Bennett again on that gain for St. X. Wasn't 100% sure on the number, but we'll see about maybe a little less than a yard here. Be interesting to see what Herbstreit and this offense do. He's lining up under center, 2 men in the backfield. Herbstreit takes a snap, handoff. This one to the left side. This is Napier. Will he get to that first down marker? Not quite sure where they're going to spot it, but I do believe that will move the chains, and indeed it will.
Yeah, it's just tough football right there. Stand up. Micah Markley met him at the line of scrimmage. It's just a game of inches, and that'll do it. That'll move the chains every time.
1st and 10 here as the Bombers continue to move. That was the first time we saw Stephen Napier in tonight's game. Last year against West, Week 1, 21 carries for 66 yards. They went to him a lot, and we haven't seen the same thought process here, same play calling on offense. Herbstreit will take to under center again. Play action pass drops back, flag immediately thrown, pressure in the backfield, and the ball came loose on that hit. St. X will jump on the football, but near disaster for St. X there. Not entirely sure who that was in the backfield. I believe I saw number 8 there, which would be Cam Thomas.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the flags are here.
I would have to assume it's on St. X, although you're right, we haven't seen the call.
True.
And it looks like a false start. It looks like the penalty's getting declined, though, so it's weird they didn't blow the play dead. But that fumble will move St. X back here. So it is now 2nd and 31 is what they are showing on the scoreboard. So a bit of distance to cover if you're the St. X offense.
Yeah, this is a bit of uncharted territory for the X offense. They like to move slow in these short game situations. So this will be interesting right here.
We do have confirmation that was Cam Thomas. He was a freshman last year, didn't play a whole lot, came out a little bit in garbage time. But let me tell you, this kid is not a garbage time player. He could have started last year if it weren't for some of that talent. As Herbstreit fires under pressure here, gets it across the middle. St. X able to work their way to about the 39-yard line on that gain. And that will be Cam Taylor able to snag that ball for the Bombers.
Yeah, the other Cam Thomas was in the backfield again. I mean, just a split second. That was just a great play call. But if you saw right there, I mean, he got back there quick, and he was just a split second away from lighting up Chase and probably causing a fumble right there.
So we'll see St. X come out here a little bit more manageable. 3rd and 13, not exactly 2nd and 31, but it is still quite the distance to cover for Chase Herbstreit in this offense. Both men in the backfield motion out to each side. It's Napier who moves to the right. Herbstreit alone in shotgun here, takes a snap, looks to pass, fires across the middle. Great coverage there from Lakota West. Bukhari Miles, one of the newcomers on this team, played that great, but unfortunately St. X able to come up with the reception there, and they move the chains on 3rd and 13.
I'm not going to say anything right now, but I mean that was pretty. These are in spots that you can't get to. Like these are in perfect spots. This is great coverage. It's just Chase. He's putting it in there right now.
Of course, you said this is a big-time game for him to prove who he is. As we see him hand this one up the middle here. It's going to be a short gain for Steve Napier up the middle. Looks like he might have got back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a couple inches more.
Yeah, that interior D-line just swallowed him right there. There was nowhere to go.
Of course, this defense, it is no joke. It's just this offense has been on fire so far. As you mentioned, Chase Herbstreit has been phenomenal in placing his throws tonight. Herbstreit able to hand this one off. Napier to the right side. Stretch handoff. Jacob Asbeck able to wrap him up around the knees, just about 3 yards shy of the first down, which stands on the Firebirds 37.
That was a nice cut right there. I mean, the offensive line was moving all right. They had that zone block going. and he just makes a great cut. It's just doesn't matter a couple yards. I mean, there's a big third down right here.
St. X taking a little bit of time in the huddle here. We've seen them play very fast pace so far tonight. It was really the first time they've taken their time play calling in the huddle. 3rd and 3, Napier moving around in the backfield. Chase Herbstreit dumps it out to him in the flat. Napier able to shimmy around for the first down. Gets brought down at about the 35-yard line.
Again, that's another great play call. I mean, I don't know what else to say. That was just a good orbit motion. They orbited him out, and he was there. The ball was there. He had plenty of green room, and we only need like 2 yards. I mean, that's what you're going to get.
We'll see the Firebirds come out here, big 1st and 10, a big set of downs for them to come up with a stop here. Herbstreit will come out in the gun. Napier motioning out to the right. Herbstreit takes a snap, looks back to pass, throw across the middle. This one is Luke Clare, the tight end, who's able to cut across the first down marker. And they go from 1st and 10 to yet another 1st and 10. This one just in front of the 20-yard line of Firebirds territory. Looks like they're going to spot it at the 23, so not as close as I thought. And it looks like we have a timeout called on the field. And it will be a Firebirds timeout. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back in a few moments. Thanks for sticking with us here on Lakota West Student Broadcasting, Week 1 action. Back from RDI Stadium here with Week 1 rivalry football. The St. Xavier Bombers have been all over these Lakota West Firebirds to start here tonight, and we've got a bit of a wildcat formation here as the Bombers going to run this one to about the 20. Not entirely sure who number 3 is here. I believe that was number 3, unless you saw a different number. That would be Daniel Volmer, the sophomore quarterback who is currently sitting behind Chase Herbstreit.
Yeah, that's what happens when you run a 3-man front sometimes. I mean, those gaps are wide open. That was just another good play call. I mean,
Chase Herbstreit back on the field here. He'll go under center. Napier in the backfield. Stretch handoff, this one to Napier. Right side, Micah Markley able to wrap him up just past the 20-yard line. Looks like he'll go down about the 17. And we'll have a 3rd and just about 5 yards for the Bombers as we are almost through with this first quarter of play.
so far, X has done a great job on offense with the balance. They've really spread out this X defense and doing a great job of a great balance of running the ball and passing the ball. These quick passes are throwing them off guard as that'll end the first quarter.
Yeah, well, that'll do it. St. X leading this one 7-0. We'll flip sides of the field here. We'll come back from RDI Stadium. The Firebirds trail this one 7-0. 3rd down and 4 here from RDI Stadium at St. Xavier High School. The Bombers have been marching down the field on these Firebirds all night. Chase Herbstreit leading that Bombers offense against a Firebirds defense that isn't exactly too shabby. That you've mentioned it before. I mean, he has just been on it all night tonight.
Yes, he has.
We'll see Herbstreit come out in the shotgun here. Napier behind him. Rolls out to his left. Boot pass. Gets it out to number 6 there. That is Brady Bennett on the short gain for St. X. And that will be a 4th down upcoming. Bukhari Miles able to make the hit for the Firebirds. And it looks like Jake Sengia will be out, the kicking unit for this St. Xavier Bombers team.
That was great coverage on that 3rd down right there. I mean, he made a great recovery, and it's made a stop right here. That's all you need. So leave it up to the kicker.
They are taking their time in the huddle here. You got to wonder, do you think they go with any trick play here? I mean, obviously, it could be in the cards. It's very unlikely that it is in the cards, but we saw some of the formations they were coming out in earlier, especially with that PAT.
Yeah, I think it's just some trickery. I think it's just get them on their heels.
Kick is up, and it looks like a Firebird got a shoulder pad on it. It is no good. Sengia with his first field goal attempt of the year, and it is blocked by the Firebirds. You can see how excited that offense is. They needed that stop, did they not?
Oh yeah, it's all motivation. And once you get the ball rolling, you get the ball rolling, and now this offense could probably find some legs and start really rolling down the field here.
Well, we'll see what the Firebirds come out with here. They are backed up in their own red zone. That blocked field goal, they will spot it on exactly the 20-yard line. Jackson Smith coming back out. He had a solid first drive up until that botched snap. He dropped it, and the Bombers recovered the football. What do you think we see from him to come back and adjust this time around?
I think this one's going to be more of a filling out process this time, so a lot of runs.
Well, you call it. Here's Junior Gonzalez running up the right side nearly to that first down marker. Hits about the 29-yard line before he is brought down by the Bombers. Looking at about a 2nd and 1, maybe 2nd and 2, depending on where that football gets spotted.
Yeah, this is a good spot right now. Second and short is always when you want to take your shot. So if they want to take the shot, they want to take the shot right now. So we'll see what happens right here. I'm sure they'll spread it out and maybe dish it to one of these receivers, hopefully. If not, you just play it safe. You let Junior keep rolling.
Well, we've seen that Jackson Smith so far can run too, kind of similar to Mitch Bolden. Obviously, he's not quite to the point where Mitch was able to take hits last year, but we'll obviously see that evolution over the next 4 years. As this handoff up the middle, Junior Gonzalez able to hit the first down marker there.
Yeah, Junior runs hard, and that's what you're going to get out of him. That's his play style. He's a physical back. He's not a guy that's going to juke you out of your shoes. He's just a guy that's going to run right through you, and that's why he's there. He's a great blocking back. He's a great back to you just want to send it up the middle. You send it off the middle. You get at least 3-4 yards. So yeah, that's a good play call there. Good safe play call. So we'll see what happens here.
Now about 10 minutes remaining in the quarter. St. X has had this football for a big portion of this game. I mean, the St. X defense has only been out here for how many plays? About 6 at this point. And another botched snap. That snap did look a bit high, but Jackson did fumble it, and he will just dump that one off to the right side. Looked like he tried to hit Junior Gonzalez on the run, and he is unsuccessful in doing so.
Again, that battery connection is just absolutely key between the center and the quarterback. They always got to be on that same page, and that's what you're going to see kind of throughout this game. It's still a feeling out process, even though the first drive's gone, all the jitters are out. The quarterback in the center's always got a connection going on. They got a game within the game, quote, game within the game. It's got to be there every time. They got to be on the same page so they can get rolling here.
We'll see Smith come out here in shotgun. He's got Junior Gonzalez out to his right. 4 wide for the Firebirds, including Luca Gilbert on that right side, the big target who's already been hit tonight. This one thrown out deep for Trey Barnett, the transfer from Dixie Heights. He's able to get a hand on it, but it is overthrown and incomplete. Firebirds with a 3rd and 10 on the way.
That was the right decision. Just a little bit too high. Just a little bit too high. If you got that down, that could have been a good first down play. Excuse me, 2nd down.
We'll see the Firebirds take a little bit of time with this 3rd and 10 play call from the 32-yard line here. Under that 10-minute mark in the second quarter, as we mentioned, things probably going to get a little more heated up as we get towards halftime. St. X, they've been on fire on offense all day, but no doubt these Firebirds looking to retaliate here before we head into the locker rooms. Of course, we heard some very fun stories about that halftime locker room atmosphere last year in that Week 1 game. Smith looks to throw here, looks for Giovanni Wilson. It is tipped off his hand and intercepted. That one into the hands of number 23, Braden Riley, as the Bombers will take over just outside their red zone.
Just one of those right place, right time. I mean, it wasn't a terrible throw. It's just out of the reach, and with this St. X defense, anything out of the reach, 9 times out of 10 is probably going to be picked off and going the other way. So I mean, it's an experience based. As a quarterback, experience is huge, but I mean, you're going to throw an interception. You're never going to be perfect, but again, it's all about recovering from those mistakes and coming back stronger.
We'll see Chase Herbstreit return to the field here. Bombers on the 34-yard line of Firebird territory. Brady Bennett motioning out to the right for the Bombers. Herbstreit, the lone man in the backfield, drops back to pass. Looks for Brady there. Able to get this one out of bounds at about the 25-yard line, a few yards short of the line to gain.
Again, a nice little pitch and catch right there. That's all it takes. I mean, those little out routes, I mean, they can kill you sometimes if you're playing too far back. The safeties are playing too far back. I mean, when you play cushion zone like that, there's easily options either underneath or on like those little out routes, the flats.
And it looks like they are going to give him the first down there. So the Bombers on the 24-yard line, 1st and 10. Herbstreit under center, the backfield will be, I believe, well, they run it out to the right side here. I did not see a number on that running back. I was wondering if you got something there, George.
I don't think I did.
I believe that was number 26 for the Bombers. As I mentioned, we do apologize for how high up we are this game. We aren't used to these angles. I believe that was Spencer Stegbauer for the Bombers, if we had that number right, number 26. And we'll see him again up the middle here, run to about the 20-yard line as the Firebirds have another big 3rd down on the way. If they can stop them here and, bring up a 4th down, we did see that blocked field goal earlier. You can't ask for that every time, but obviously wild things happen when you bring out that special teams unit.
Oh, yeah. And that was a great job there by Eli to shut that block and get that tackle because there was a bit of a hole there, but he covered that up really quickly.
Herbstreit takes a snap, fakes the handoff, looks to throw this one to the back of the end zone. Double coverage, no good. St. X fans want flags. They will not get any, and we are looking at an upcoming 4th and 6 for the Bombers from the Firebirds 20.
Yeah, first of all, that was great coverage, by the way. I mean, that's double coverage. That is a near impossible throw as they're going to send the special teams unit and try to kick another field goal. But, I mean, you saw what happened last time. I mean, anything could happen.
We'll see Sengia out here again, 0 for 1 on field goals this year, as we saw earlier. Firebirds fans making a lot of noise, and it looks like Firebird nearly got a hand on that again. Tabron bennie-powell with a dive there, but it comes up unsuccessful. The Bombers take a 10-0 lead here at RDI Stadium. Do we want to talk about how we headed into halftime last year? Maybe a little bit of similarities going on there. We'll talk about that and a little bit more when we come back to RDI Stadium. We'll take a quick break. Thanks for sticking with us on Lakota West Student Broadcasting. back from St. Xavier High School here in Cincinnati as these Firebirds getting ready to kick off here for their third offensive possession of the game. As you know, these Firebirds, the clock management in this game for St. X has been very phenomenal in their favor here. The Firebirds have only had 2 short possessions, both ending in turnovers, one a tipped ball interception, and the other a bad snap fumble, which St. X was able to fall on. Sengia boots us away here. Back deep to return. This is Giovanni Wilson on the 1-yard line. Stumbles into the end zone a bit there, runs it out to about the 17-yard line, turns around, stays on his feet, and it takes a pile of St. Xavier Bombers to knock him down to the ground.
Yeah, that was a great kick and even better coverage right there. I mean, I saw about 6, 7 blue shirts on him at about the 15-yard line. So, I mean, he really had no shot there. But, I mean, that's just, what can you do, you know? This is a big offensive possession here. See if they can grow their legs, find a rhythm this time, and try to avoid those turnovers for sure.
Well, out trots the offensive unit here, and so will Jackson Smith. He's had 2 turnovers so far. One was in part his fault there on that bad snap. The other one, he just got really unlucky on that pick last time out. We'll see him in the shotgun here. Hand off this one to Junior Gonzalez. Cuts to the left side. Gets just slightly up past the 15, maybe about the 15 and a half before being wrapped up around the knees.
Again, that's what you're going to see out of him. He's just a run through you back. He doesn't prefer to juke. He prefers to run through. So what we'll see here is more than likely a pass, more than likely a short pass. But they do come out in a bunch formation, so we'll see what happens here.
We'll see what Coach Bolden and the offense elect to do here. Jet sweep motion. Brennan Remy gets the handoff, runs towards the Firebirds sideline, swerves his way through a couple of defenders, picks up about an extra 2. Looks like we'll see about a 3rd and 7 on the way for the Firebirds.
Signature play right there. I remember that play exactly and at East last season, and he broke one for about, I don't know what it was, 80, 85 yards, but, I mean, that's a signature play right there. Sometimes it breaks open, but more than likely you're going to get at least 5 yards out of it. So a big 3rd down right here.
We'll see what the Firebirds elect to do here. It looks like they might have to go through the air, backed up in their own territory, 3rd and 7. We'll see 4 out wide here for the Firebirds. It'll be Brennan Remy, the lone man, to the left side. Smith takes the snap, back to pass, throws deep, and this one caught by the tight end, Luca Gilbert, well up past the line to gain, nearly to about the 35-yard line. I'm not quite sure where he went out of bounds, but it looks to be around the 34. But either way, it is a move of the chains for the Firebirds, a new set of downs.
Yep, that's a good route concept right there. I mean, he was open, he was wide open, and I mean he's a big target. So I mean, I know he overthrew a receiver earlier in the game, but I mean it's pretty hard to overthrow Luca. So I mean, just a good play call. Way to go to your targets.
That's 6 minutes and 44 seconds remaining on the game clock here in the first half. This one handoff. Junior Gonzalez up the middle, and he's going to get stuffed right away. The St. Xavier Bombers defense starting to pick up on that run game up the middle, even though Junior Gonzalez a very tough back to stop.
Yeah, that was Nate. I believe that was Nathan Bryce. That Nathan Bryce, Ted Hammond, and Noah Beck, that interior, they run that 3 front, and those guys are pretty huge. I'll be honest. They just swallow everything up, just like the West defensive line. These guys are very similar as how they play, but I mean they are dominant. They are the dogs of defense for sure.
Well, we'll see again the look with Jackson Smith out in the backfield. Junior Gonzalez taking to his left, 4 wide in total for the Firebirds. Cutting across the field here is Giovanni Wilson back out to the right. Or sorry, this is Trey Barnett who gets that throw. And he'll get to about the 36-yard line, making a little bit of progress on these chains, not making progress on the chains, not quite to that first down marker, but we'll see a bit of a chunk play there, about 3 yards on that gain. 3rd and 6 is what they'll call it.
Yeah, that's the first time we've seen Trey tonight, but I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of him throughout the game because he's not a guy that's going to be watched by the St. X offense. Their focus is going to be more on Luca and Remy, so he can be a guy that could be sneaky and get the ball down the field at some point during this game.
Well, there's a reason guys from all across the nation transfer and make their way to Lakota West High School, and that is Coach Bolden, the phenomenal coaching job he does. So we will definitely see Barnett used as we have a flinch at the line, and West will back up 5.
Again, it's just an inexperienced offensive line right there. I believe that was number 50, Christian Siders. This is his first game at O-line. So, I mean, this is just the type of stuff. This is just adversity you just got to overcome. So, this is a third and 11 right here. This is a big third down. You really they got to air this one out right here.
Of course, a lot riding on this first half, as anything can happen in football. As we saw last year, the Bombers went into halftime up 13-0. But of course, you do want to put some points on the board before you go into that locker room, do you not?
Absolutely. Whether it's 3 or 7, it's just a confidence booster going in the locker room for sure.
Smith back here to take the pass under extreme pressure, throws out to Tabron Bennie-Powell. Well overthrown there, and it was nearly picked off there by the Bombers. That was Lucas Bishop who nearly got his hands on that one.
Yeah, that's tough. He didn't have He didn't have very much time right there. He was swarmed immediately. So I mean, that's just a tough play, trying to keep it up, trying to make something happen. But I mean, it's just what's going to happen. So here's Joe Marcourt right here.
First time we've seen this punt unit all year. Whether or not that's a good or bad thing, I'll let your judgment decide with these turnovers. Takes a snap here, big boot here, goes past the 35-yard line. 2 Firebird tacklers in the area, as he's not going to get very far on that return. About the 34-yard line is where the Bombers are going to be spotted. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back with all the coverage of tonight's game here on Lakota West Student Broadcast. Back here with more Firebird football. The Firebirds coming out here down 10-0. Another St. X offensive possession. This one going to start with a run up the left side, about an 8-yard gain there for the St. Xavier Bombers.
Yeah, nice little run right there. Offensive line got a great push right there. Opened up that seam just a little bit. So that was a good run.
It'll be a 2nd and 2 on the way for the Bombers. And of course, you see them once again kind of shifting away from that fast play style. If you keep your eye on the clock here, now under 4 minutes to halftime. Chase Herbstreit will go under center here, 2 men in the backfield. He's going to hand this one off to the left, and that ball came loose. Did the Firebirds fall on it? It looks like they did, and it is St. Xavier football.
Man, that's tough. That ball was loose for a good 3 seconds. I mean, I might have fallen on it from up here, I'm going to be honest.
And that would have been a big break for the Firebirds, too, after that punt. You essentially punt it to yourself. That would have been huge for this offense that's very much struggled all night long with the learning curve here with Jackson Smith. But instead, the Bombers with a first down here off of their own fumble.
Yeah, they pretty much got the clock in their hands right now. So we'll see a lot of hurry up. 3 minutes to go, though, so definitely going to be some big plays.
Herbstreit under center takes the snap. This a handoff to Napier, left side. Lots of pressure from the Firebirds. And it'll be Micah Markley with the pressure in the backfield and Tabron Bennie-Powell who swoops in to help nick the stop.
That was a great job by the defense right there. They swarmed to the ball fast, but we got a flag down.
See the referees conferring here. Looks like they're over on the west sideline. And it will be an offensive holding call, so we'll see what the Firebirds elect to do here. And they will be moving back the football. So you give St. X the down back, but you move them back 10 yards.
Yeah, that's a judgment call. You could go either way right there, but that just more field to work with.
Yeah, of course, as I mentioned, you get the down back, but when you're working against the clock like this, it does make sense to back them up 10 yards, make them work to get back in that end zone.
Absolutely.
Herbstreit coming out here in the shotgun, 5 wide for the Bombers. Napier cutting across into the backfield. Clock still running, now under 2.5 minutes. Napier now in the backfield here with Herbstreit, who looks to pass under a lot of pressure there. And that was an incomplete pass to the left side. But Gabe Flores easily getting into that backfield and rattling Herbstreit. Really the first time we've seen him rattled like that tonight.
Man, he was in there quickly right there. He shed that block. He was on him. I mean, he saved a big play right there. That could have been a lot of yards. He had a lot of green space to work with. But that pressure, forced that low throw, I mean, he can't catch it at the ankles. That's tough.
See the Bombers in the huddle here. 2 minutes and 18 seconds. A dead clock after the incomplete pass. There is no 2-minute warning in high school football, so we'll see this clock run all the way unless either team will end up stopping it. 2nd and 20 on the way after the holding penalty on first down, the incompletion. Lots of pressure again in the backfield here. Herbstreit fires, tipped ball, and an incomplete pass. The Firebirds able to force pressure a lot more on this drive than they have in the past. Drew Minnick nearly able to intercept that football.
Yeah, that was just overall great play by that defense. Grant Bierman got in there quick, and Minnick had just lockdown coverage, and that was pretty much impossible to throw. I know he's been hitting his spots all night, but I mean, that's you can't make a throw like that. I'm gonna be honest.
And you see these Firebirds waving on that student section, trying to bring the noise. 3rd and 20 with a chance to get the ball back and put some points on this scoreboard before we head into the locker rooms at halftime. As we once again see Daniel Vollmer take to the quarterback spot for the St. Xavier Bombers. Napier motioning out wide right. It'll be 5 wide. Vollmer, he's going to end up running with this football. Scrambles up the middle. Grant Bierman able to start to wrap him down there. He gets back to about the original line of scrimmage. We're looking at about a 4th and 11, 4th and 10 on the way, as I would have to imagine the punt team on the way out.
Yeah, that was a clock call, I like to call it, because that's a call that they're at this point they're really trying to waste the clock. They know we're going to get the ball back, and we're going to have about, I would say, 130 to 125 left on the clock. As they quickly send out the punt team, they're gonna wait till this clock runs down, and then they'll boot one off.
Yeah, they wait for that clock to drain down, and then they keep the Firebirds on their toes by rushing that team out, as you mentioned. And we get a timeout called here for Lakota West. They stop that clock at 1:30. We'll take a quick break alongside, and we'll be right back with the final 1:30 of half number 1 after this. Back with the finale of this first half of play here at St. Xavier High School. Between breaks, the student sections suddenly filled with energy, ready to go for this final 1:30. A little bit of back and forth exchange. You love to see it. It's what makes high school football great, especially week 1, to get back to it after you've missed it for so long. It's fantastic to hear as we have a gunner battle there, and a flag will be thrown. I would have to imagine that will back up the Firebirds, as it looks like the Firebird initiated that contact there. That would be Drew Minnick, the gunner, with the flag thrown on him.
Yeah, that was a physical battle. As you can see at the bottom of your screen, that was, I don't know if you saw it. I mean, they were pulling and dragging on each other. But I mean, the Firebird's going to get the call all day because we have a target on our backs. That's for sure.
And it will be a holding call officially And, of course, special teams, gunners are no joke. I mean, those battles get incredibly physical all the time. But, of course, there is a line you can't cross there, and we saw a little bit of holding. And when I say a little bit, it was a lot. There was a little wrestling going on there. But, once again, crossing that line, and the Firebirds will be backed up.
Yeah, the gunners are always the most aggressive, and they're gonna be tugging. They're the ones that are gonna get the call for sure. And Minnick, I don't want to say takedown like WWE style takedown right there. I don't know, but that was a flag all day. So
it looked like it could have been a finishing move. That's for sure. There was definitely holding contact on that play. You can't blame him for throwing the flag.
Yeah.
1 minute, 21 seconds remain on the game clock here in half number one. The Firebirds trail this one 10-0. They look to put points back on the board. They're already doing better than they were week one last year, in fairness. We'll see the handoff here. This one, Junior Gonzalez taking it up the middle. Gain of a few yards. And it looks like he's going to keep pushing through that pile. Lakota West able to keep him going through those big bodies on the line. That will move the chains for the Firebirds.
He's just that type of guy. He is going to run right through you. Again, what we're going to see all night and all season, really. But we'll see if the Firebirds, they're going to hurry it up right here. See if they play with a little bit of urgency here. We're under a minute, so.
We do want to apologize if you heard any potential foul language there. We did have a bunch of St. X kids run up to our field mic. We were able to cut the audio there, but we do apologize for any profanities that might have slipped through. This one, Giovanni Wilson, run to the right side, gets about 3, as we are well under a minute now, around 40 seconds remaining on that clock, as we will have a stoppage called for down on the field. I believe this will be a St. X timeout. It will be a Lakota West timeout, so they use their third and final with 38 seconds remaining. We will take a quick break. We'll be back with the final 38 seconds of the half after this. Back with the final 38 of the first half here. Firebirds working with a 2nd and 7 after picking up a big first down on the run from Junior Gonzalez earlier on the drive. Jackson Smith looks to pass here, steps up, looks to run, and he will eventually be brought down there by the Bombers. That was Gus Folke, the senior linebacker for the St. Xavier Bombers.
Yeah, that wasn't a great decision to run, but I mean, again, Bombers really want to get this ball back. They really think they can score. That's why they're calling a timeout here. So we got to see if the Firebirds can get a first down here and probably run this clock out or get 3 points.
Yeah, St. X taking the timeout there. You see the Firebirds all out of theirs with 29 seconds here. St. X seems to like their chances on this third down stop, and you can't blame them the way that this Firebirds offense has been struggling with, as you mentioned, just the youth on this roster. And any week one you're working with a young team, it's going to be a bit difficult, and especially if you're playing a GCL team like St. X.
Oh, yeah. And this reminds me of last year's game. Because, I mean, this was about the same score. Maybe it was 7-0, but this is about the same score. And you're going into halftime, and you gotta find it. I know Coach Bone, he was fired up last year. I'm sure you guys heard the stories. You know, he gets intense in the locker rooms, and it'll light a fuel under you. So, I mean, when these guys come out the locker room, it's going to be a new team. And this is trial and error the first half, but this second half is going to be, I can assure, a much smoother and much well-oiled working machine.
It's 3rd and 6 here for the Firebirds. We'll see what they elect to do here. Smith will take to the backfield. Here comes Giovanni Wilson. Smith going to run up the middle, looks to throw it. Giovanni Wilson nearly able to come up with it on the Firebirds sideline, but it will fall incomplete. 29 seconds remain here. 4th down and 6 upcoming. Firebirds have to hold strong here for 30 seconds before they can survive into halftime.
Yeah, this is what comes down to clock management now. For first half here, we're going to see St. X is going to get the ball with about 24. Yeah, they're going to get 24 seconds, probably about 20 seconds. And I mean, we'll see these route concepts and how they do it, because they're going to score. They're aiming to score. They're not run the clock out. We'll say that.
See Mark Quard out for the second punt of the night. Good snap, good kick. Very high, fair catch called for. Pressure from Drew Minnick and the backfield. Drew Minnick has been all over the field on special teams tonight, as we're going to take a quick break. 19 seconds remain before half. St. X looking to add more to their 10-point lead. Not yet. And we're back from St. X here. Herb Street with the throw down the field, looking for his tight end, Claire, and that will be incomplete.
That's good coverage by those inside linebackers right there. I mean, they pretty much covered that seam route perfectly, and you can't do it really better than that. So 15 seconds, about, I would say, 40, 45 yards to field goal range. That's a tough ask, especially against this Lakota West defense. So I'm curious to see what they do here.
And especially that secondary. You look at the score, and you wouldn't assume that they've been having a solid game, but you look at the coverage they've had tonight, and it's been very on par with what we expected. But Herb Street has just been all over that defense so far with his tight window passes as they take a knee. And we will head into halftime 10-0. The Firebirds trailed a year ago 13-0. So anything is possible in week one. We thank you for tuning in to the first half of the broadcast here on Lakota West Student Broadcasting. We'll be right back with the second half of action. Don't go anywhere. You won't want to miss the finale of this big week one rivalry matchup. Welcome back to St. Xavier High School, where we've got week 1 rivalry football for the first time in what feels like way too long since we've had high school football here. The Bombers currently leading this one 10-0, as we thank you for tuning into the second half of tonight's stream here on Lakota West Student Broadcasting. I'm Nick Johnson, taking you through the play-by-play tonight, and alongside is our new analyst, Jordan. Jordan, how you feeling? Have we scared you away yet? Have we made you regret your decisions?
No. We're good. We're having fun up here. They're having fun down there. This is going to be a fun second half.
Well, we'll hope it's a fun second half for the Firebirds. They trail by 10. Last year, this time, they trailed by 13. Here goes Giovanni Wilson on the kick return. Scatters to about the 20-yard line before being knocked out of bounds by the Bombers special teams unit. And Jackson Smith will come out working with a 1st and 10. We're trying not to read off the paper stats here because they aren't exactly an entirely accurate representation of how he's been playing. He's been going up against a rough defense, and he's been doing solid for his first start. Jordan, you care to take us through those stats?
Yeah. He is 4 for 11. He's thrown for 24 yards and just 1 INT, which, if you think about it, for a true freshman in his first game against one of the better teams in the state of Ohio, it really isn't bad. It's just the second half. It's how you finish. It's not how you start, and that's always the case, especially being a young quarterback.
Smith will take the snap here. He's going to hand it off up the middle. This is Junior Gonzalez making a push down that left sideline, and I apologize, that is not Junior Gonzalez. That is number 22 for the Firebirds. That is Joel Drake, the running back, in on that carry.
That was actually Braden Johnson, the sophomore on the carry right there. Getting a little bit of action. 2 nice stiff arms, actually.
2s and 3s all look the same from up here. Feels like we're about 5 miles in the air up here.
That is true.
On the carry, though, Johnson able to pick up about 2 yards. 2nd and 8, 11:51 on the clock. And we do want to apologize if you're seeing any technical issues with the camera. It is week 1, and we are on the road. It takes a while to get back into the swing of things, so we thank you for sticking with us through it. As we see the deep ball here, is that picked off? It is picked off. The St. Xavier Bombers picking off Smith for the second time tonight. And that is Braden Riley able to get up there on that jump ball, double coverage throw. What were you seeing there from Smith? Do you think that was an undisciplined throw? Do you think that was great defense? What do you take us through that? What did you see?
I think it's just a young quarterback trying to make a play for himself. And, I mean, he needs a boost of confidence. He's thrown 2 interceptions. Not ideal, but, I mean, anything can happen. And, I mean, although this isn't a great start for West, I mean, it's anyone's ball game. Second half, as you know, has always favored West.
Here comes Chase Herbstreet back out onto the field. He'll hand this one off to Napier, who is instantly blown up in the backfield. Elijah Davis getting to him behind the line of scrimmage. Looks like a tackle for loss of about 2 yards behind the line.
That's why he is going to Akron, ladies and gentlemen.
And he's just one of the many Division I football commits on this roster, especially on that defense. You look at the talent there. You got Jacob Asbeck going to Navy. Grant Bierman, who's uncommitted, but his offers are starting to rack up. Yukari Miles, the senior, who's returning from injury. Drew Minnick, brother of Ben Minnick, who went up to Notre Dame to start this season for the Irish in South Bend. It'll officially be called a loss of 3, 2nd and 13. This one, a handoff up the middle, goes Napier. And he'll get up past the original line of scrimmage. Looks like a gain of about 6 yards. We're looking at about a 3rd and 7 upcoming for the Bombers as they are a little bit past the 40-yard line in Lakota West territory.
It's a nice little play right there, but this is a big 3rd down here. This is where you want to get a stop right here. You want to get your offense back out on the field, and I would say take possession. Possession's going to be key for this offense. If they can get a stop right here, this defense can get a stop right here. So we'll see what happens here.
Here comes Herbstreet out in the gun. He's got Napier behind him, and now motions out to the left. Why so quiet chance gets started from the St. X student section. And it looks like we got a false start penalty there. St. X backed up 5 yards. You can see the energy there from Coach Bolden on the sideline. Bombers go from 3rd and 8 to 3rd and 13.
Yeah, this crowd starting to get into a little bit. It fuels the team. It fuels the defense. When a defense gets behind a crowd like that, there's no telling what they can do. They can they could do whatever when they got that energy in them.
Herbstreit with Napier out to his left. Looks back to throw here. Across the middle. Great defense there from corner Drew Minnick, the senior wearing number 5 for the red and white. More phenomenal coverage. And that's going to be a personal foul there on the Firebirds, roughing the passer. And that is not what you want to do when you go up against a team like this in a game like that. You come up with a big 3rd and long stop. Phenomenal defense there for Minnick. And unfortunately, you gift St. X that 1st and 10.
Sometimes that energy spoils over and you make a bit of a mistake right there. That was a pretty big mistake by Micah Markley, I believe, who was in the backfield there. Got there, just a little too late. I mean, I can't take away from that coverage. That coverage was spot on. That was perfection by Minnick, by the way.
Herbstreit, the only man in the backfield, out in the shotgun. Napier motioning out left. He'll set up behind Herbstreit. Herbstreit, a phenomenal first half, looking to repeat here in the second. Handoff to Napier. He cuts to the right side. Wrapped up at the line of scrimmage. Micah Markley in there to wrap him up alongside number 2. That is Bukhari Miles for the Firebirds.
Nice little redeem play for Markley. Makes the play himself right there. So that's the best way to respond right there. So let's see. We got about 2nd down and 8. Curious to see what they do here. Definitely moving with some urgency, though.
2nd and 2, 9.5 minutes remain in the 3rd. Handoff, Napier up the middle. And a big-time stop there at the line of scrimmage. I do believe I accidentally called that 2nd and 2. It will be 2nd and 7. Now it'll be 3rd and 7. Looks like they hit him right at the line.
Great job by Eli there. He just screamed down that right side of the line right there, and he made that play for himself. Once you hold a man up, there's going to be 3 more that'll take you down. So big 3rd down here.
And you mentioned that defensive front. Those aren't exactly small guys down there. That is a big defensive front with Flores, Griffith, and Davis. Herbstreit back to pass here, looks to the right sideline. It is overthrown off the hand there, near completion for the Bombers. Jack McClatchy going up for it, unable to come down with it, as a 4th and 7 might bring out the kick team for St. X. It looks like they're deliberating whether or not to bring out this kick team.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they do here. They're definitely scared of the past 2 field goal attempts. They've either been blocked or they've been fingertips away from being blocked. So, they could very well go for it right here. I wouldn't be surprised.
Sengia is a very solid kicker, but you bring up a good point. The special teams has been on point for the Firebirds here today. And, of course, the way this offense is rolling, why would you want to stop? And it looks like that's the mindset we got here. 8 minutes, 41 seconds remain in the 3rd quarter. Herbstreit out in shotgun, 5 wide for the Bombers. Napier motions out into the backfield, moves out to the left, whistle blown, and it looks like we have a timeout, and it will be a St. Xavier timeout. We're going to take a timeout with them. Thank you for tuning in to the second half of coverage on Lakota West Student Broadcasting. Don't go anywhere. Exciting finishes on the way. St. X evidently not a fan of the defensive look they were getting from the Firebirds. They take that timeout, but they still look like they plan on going for it here. 4th and 7 from the Firebirds' 24-yard line. You sacrifice potential 3 to try and keep rolling on this Firebirds defense. Herbstreit in shotgun here, drops back to pass. Gabriel Flores bringing the pressure from the left side. Herbstreit Gonna run up. He's gonna scramble with the football. Can he get to the first down marker? Big wall of defenders at the line to gain. And it looks like from here that will be Firebird football. We'll see where they spot that. The defense is running off the field, and it does look like that will be a turnover on downs. Jordan, do you like that call? Do you like giving up the 3 points if you're St. X? What was going through your head there?
I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I myself, as a Madden player, I'm going for fourth down every time. If it's within 10 yards, I'm probably going for fourth down. But that's just me. But from a St. X point of view, I can see where they're coming from because, I mean, they've been able to stop this offense, and why risk 3 when you could get 7? But, again, a great stop by the defense.
Handoff here from Smith. This one is going to go to Braden Johnson up the middle. Gets about a yard, maybe 2 on the carry. But St. X held the 10. The Firebirds, if they get one good drive in here, this game is entirely different.
Absolutely. I mean, all it takes is just a couple points to completely change the entire game. And that was Braden Johnson on the carry, I believe, up the middle.
You saw the quick strikes last year. Brennan Remy with a big touchdown late in the Week 1 game last year that kept the Firebirds in it and ultimately ended up setting them up for the Ben Minnick touchdown reception, the game winner. All it takes is one of those. We saw it last year. Maybe we see it again here. Smith in the shotgun. Giovanni Wilson motioned out left before the snap, but Smith will end up running with it. Gets about 2 yards on that carry. And we're looking at about 3rd and 7 upcoming for the Firebirds.
If the offense can score here, that could change possibly the entire game. But it's just looked like such a challenge the entire day. But I mean, again, 7 minutes left in the third quarter, plenty of time to make those adjustments. And this is a pretty big third down here, so I'm curious to see who they go to here. I believe they'll go to one of their, I would say, more known targets. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a Luca or a G catch right here, or even a Remy.
They will move it to 3rd and 5. Firebirds 2 of 5 on the day on 3rd down. Smith back to pass. Under pressure from both sides, moves up in the pocket, and he is brought down. That is a big sack on Jackson Smith, as it will once again force a punt from the Firebirds.
It's been tough all night on him, and I'm definitely feeling for him. But again, it's all experience. These are all guys that didn't play really at all last year. There's 0 returning starters on the O-line, and sometimes it's gonna happen. And having a freshman quarterback there, it's tough. But again, you got to do what you got to do. And we'll see if Marquardt can get a good punt here and set the defense up.
Marquardt out for the 3rd time here tonight. 6 minutes remain in the 3rd quarter. And it looks like we have an early jump from the Firebirds. Back them up 4th and 10.
5-yard penalty whistled against Lakota West. Ball being marked back at the 18-yard line.
Yeah, knowing Joe, it really doesn't affect him. Hope not. He should probably get the same about a net punt average here.
He wasn't the starting punter last year to begin the season. However, when Ben Minnick did go down with injury late in the season, we did see him quite a bit, and a hand gets on that one. Partially blocked, but it continues to take a roll in favor of West. And Gunner's able to wrap him up at about the St. X 48-yard line. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Another St. X drive on the way. Back with more Firebird football action. It's Chase Herbstreit and the St. X offense taking to the field once again. So we'll see a handoff here to start this drive up to the right side. Gain up to about the 47-yard line of Lakota West territory. These St. X Bombers, they've been moving all day, but this Lakota West defense holding strong. It's been about 1 or 2 plays each drive that have made the difference. This defense clinging on to the hope of this offense catching fire, they haven't let the Bombers have anything easy.
That's right. And this offense is desperately needing a turnover and a shift in motivation and the shift in the game, really. These guys, the defense needs to create a turnover, and they need to create a big play, and it needs to happen pretty soon.
We'll see Herb Street under center here. In the backfield, it's Spencer Stegbauer. Herb Street hands it off here up the middle across the 40-yard line goes Stegbauer into about the 36, 37-yard line of Firebird territory. About 4.5 minutes remain in the quarter.
It's probably what you're going to see mostly for the rest of the game. It's going to be these runs. They're going to chew the clock down. Not only that, they're going to try to wear the defense down. And although they've been vulnerable before, the defense holds strong 9 times out of 10. So we'll see what happens here.
Herb Street under center here. Handoff up to the right side. Stegbauer again. Shorter gain on that one, maybe about 1 yard on the carry.
Again, that's probably what you're going to see mostly throughout this game. The course of the game is these runs, just to try to wear down that line and really waste the clock, because they know once the Firebirds score, it'll be dangerous territory for them.
St. X, as you mentioned, running down that clock here early in this third quarter. About 3.5 minutes remain here. But it's been all St. X possession-wise throughout this entire game, and especially this half. Herb Street takes a snap, handoff up the middle. Gets to about the 35-yard line. We'll be looking at about 3rd and about 7 upcoming.
This is a tough spot for X, because they could go either way. They could stick to their game plan right now and just run it, or they could really try to ice it maybe and go for 7 here. But I'm curious to see what they do here. They could go either way.
See St. X taking their time in the huddle here from the 35-yard line. 3rd and 7. You think if they get stopped here, would they go for it again on 4th?
That's a tough decision again. They probably will, just because of the yard line, but we'll see.
Herb Street, the only man in the backfield, and the pass instantly batted down there. Grant Bierman able to get a hand on it. He wanted that to be a live ball, but it will be called an incomplete pass.
Great play by Grant Bierman, right up the middle, screaming. Makes the play. He's lengthy, so he can tip those all day.
And here comes the punting unit. We will not see another 4th down conversion attempt. 2.5 minutes here for the Firebirds to get going in the 3rd. They still have another 12 to play with upcoming. Back deep for the Firebirds is Brendan Remy. Punt is up and away. Fair catch called for by Remy, but he'll let it bounce into the end zone. Touchback for the Firebirds. We're going to take a quick step aside. We'll be right back. Firebird ball when we return. Jackson Smith and the Firebirds back out. 2:27 remaining in the 3rd. This one a handoff to start the drive up the middle. Junior Gonzalez not going to get much of anything. Looks like he might have lost a yard on that carry. The Firebirds just need one drive to get things going. We have not seen them move all day long, and a lot of it is the inexperience, and the other half of it is this is just an incredible defensive showing for St. X.
True, and I like how you said one drive. It could take one play. They could catch if they can catch these safeties off guard here, they could really air one out. But again, that just depends on how much time he has in the pocket and how these receivers are running these routes.
Smith will take to the backfield here. Gonzalez out to his right. This one jet sweep handoff. Giovanni Wilson will take it. Gets up back to about the 20-yard line where the drive began.
That was just another great play by the X defense. They've been lights out all night. And I know that the turnovers that they kill us, but you do got to give some credit to this X defense. It's been pretty solid. They've just made it hard. They've made it so tough on this O-line and on this freshman quarterback. They're making them feel it. They're making them remember this game. I guess is a way you could say it.
3rd and 10, the St. X student section. Probably as loud as they've been all night for this 3rd down. Under a minute to play in the quarter. St. X defense rushing up. They want the flag, and there it goes.
Again, that's a false start. Not sure on who, though.
Looks like the ref's still conferring about this call, too. We haven't seen the ball back up yet. Not quite sure what this call is, and it looks like it's a neutral zone infraction.
All right.
St. X wanted the false start call. You get a little too close to that football. That's I guess, the downside to pointing and being so adamant about a false start is if you're wrong, I guess that can happen.
True.
Something you don't really think about when the defense starts pointing. 5-yard gain on the penalty there. West, instead of working with a 3rd and 10, now a 3rd and 5. Much more manageable for the freshman quarterback, Smith.
Yeah, the options open up right here. You could. I mean, if you want to run it, you can. It's probably going to be a pass 9 times out of 10, but again, they might talk about this.
West line standing up here. Looks like the officials talking to head coach Steve Speck down there on the Bomber sideline. Not quite sure what the argument is about. I would have to assume it's that neutral zone infraction, but after the ball has been moved, the penalty has been called. I don't see what good arguing that call would do.
I don't know. He's just fighting for his guys, you know?
It's very funny how similar head coach Bolden and head coach Specht are to each other, and the way they talk, the way they coach, the way they act. I mean, there's a lot of fire from both of those guys, and you compare one to another. I mean, you would think they started coaching with each other at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, they're almost like the same person, just on different sidelines, but they know how to fuel a fire, that's for sure.
3rd and 5, student sections back loud once again. Smith over to the St. X sideline. It's Giovanni Wilson. Caught. He's got the first down at about the 34-yard line of Firebirds territory. So the chains get moved. 36 seconds remain on this clock here before we flip field sides.
And that's all it takes right there. Those easy pitch and catches are just easy 5-6 yards. If you get in a rhythm of making those plays, it makes it a lot easier on everybody else.
Sometimes that's the way to do it, even if you're a good football team going up against a team like the Bombers, you just nickel and dime your way through it. That's what we've seen the Firebirds shift to as of late as we see this handoff to the left. It's Junior Gonzalez gets to the line of scrimmage, not much more. As we will run out of time in the 3rd quarter, we're going to take a quick step aside. 12 more minutes remain in this game. The Firebirds trail 10. Can they pull off the comeback like they did last year? We'll find out after this break. And we are off from the fourth quarter here at St. Xavier High School, and so are the shirts and the St. X student section, a longtime tradition of the Bombers faithful. As it throw from Jackson Smith across the middle, an amazing tight window catch there. The pass was incredible. The catch was great, leaping in the air at about the 45-yard line, and the chains will move yet again for the Firebirds.
Yeah, that was a great play, actually. He was running to his left, throw across his body, across the middle, in between two guys. Can't do it any better than that.
Brendan Remy, the one able to go up and grab that catch. We mentioned he was the big part in the comeback last year. And a lot of that comeback did happen in the fourth quarter. Will we see deja vu? That is up to Jackson Smith in this offense. Smith, shotgun, looks out to throw, finds Giovanni Wilson in the flat. Wilson using his wheels across the 50 to about the 47-yard line of Bombers territory. Nearly could have had that first down marker.
It was close. He just got tripped up by the ankles right there. But this offense is starting to roll a little bit. And once they find that bit of rhythm, it's hard to stop. So we'll see if the St. X defense can stop this rhythm they got going on right now.
Clock still running, about 10 minutes and 55 seconds as the Firebirds still in the huddle working on this next call. Time is of the essence. Got to wonder when they start to play that hurry-up game. Smith takes a shotgun snap, looks to throw, under pressure, and he will be wrapped up and sacked. Gordy Solfstead, the junior defensive lineman, able to get to him and drop the Firebirds right back to where they were on the start of this set of downs.
Yeah, that was just, that's unfortunate. There was pressure from all sides. That made it almost impossible for Jackson. But, again, this is a game-deciding third down, in my opinion, because, this is huge right here. When the offense is they're rolling how they are, you can't come off the field. Now, you got to keep playing. You got to keep going. So this is a big third down here.
And just an observation I've made up here in the booth, and I don't know if you're seeing the same thing. We have coaches to our left, and then from what I've seen down on the sideline, it looks like these Firebird coaches oddly calm as Jackson Smith will be sacked once again, tries to get rid of it, bounces on the ground. It will be called an incomplete pass, but, late flag thrown. A little bit of frustration here as St. X erupts.
Frustrations are starting to boil over just a little bit. We got to contain ourselves here.
To this point in the game, we haven't seen a whole lot of flags in that first half. We've started to see more in this second half, and then now, with the frustrations and the false starts that we've been seeing, it's just been late. Not the kind of game you want it to be if you're a Firebird fan.
Yeah.
Too much laundry on the field for your liking.
You can say that again.
9 minutes, 40 seconds on the clock here as Lakota West has a couple of their defensive players on the field here, Drew Minnick and Jacob Asbeck, as they bring out the punting unit. As it looks like, okay, they haven't moved the scoreboard. That is my fault. I apologize. It is fourth down. They had third downs showing on the scoreboard. I thought there was something to do with the penalty there, but it will be the punt unit out for fourth down.
Yeah, we'll see if Joe can give a good boot here. Maybe give the defense a chance to get a three and out quickly.
Punt from Marquardt. About the 35-yard line. Running out to the right on the return. Wrapped up at about the 40-yard line will be Andrew Weber.
Nice coverage there from special teams.
As we switch sides here, you can see the Firebird faithful still sticking around in tonight's contest, even though they trailed 10-0 here late in the game. And going back to what I was saying about the coaching staff earlier seeming oddly calm, do you wonder, is it maybe a bit of acceptance knowing that this is a youthful team? Did they kind of have an idea that maybe the game was going to head this way? What do you think that could be?
I think it's a bit of everything. It was high stakes coming into this game. It's just it was just a battle. Here's a play-action pass. A lot of room to work with. That's a nice catch.
Herbstreit throws deep, and he's got the first down. Bombers in Firebird territory yet again. At about the 46-yard line is where he falls out of bounds.
Yeah, this coaching staff, they've been in these situations plenty of times, and they know how to react, and they know what to do, because they, these are the best coaches in the state of Ohio, and they always have a plan for everything, anything and everything.
An update on the offense here as we flip quarters. Jackson Smith on the day, 6 for 14, 46 yards, 2 interceptions. And again, we try not to pay too much attention to those stats here in this game, as it's not entirely an accurate representation of the way this game has gone. It's just been a rough adjustment.
Yeah, this is in that run there, that's pretty much what you're going to see for the rest of these 9 minutes. They're going to run the clock down. They're trying not to give the offense another chance, and their goal is to wear them out and to wear this defense out, and we'll see if they prosper here.
2nd and 5, Bombers on the move. Napier motions in the backfield. Herbstreit the handoff, Napier up the middle, and it'll be wrapped up at about the 40-yard line. That was Elijah Davis, able to hit him in the knees there. 3rd down upcoming.
It's a great play by Eli there. Big 3rd down here. See if we can get off the field. Maybe get a touchback, and then try to get a quick score. But got to get in a rhythm, and it's got to happen very fast.
8 minutes remain in the ball game. 3rd and 3 upcoming. Herbstreit lines up under center. Hot route called for out to the left. Herbstreit handoff up the middle. There goes Napier. 1st down to the 35-yard line. Maybe a push to the 34 with forward progress.
Yeah, and they've been, all you can say is Napier and Jake Britt have been phenomenal this game. And they've ran the ball hard, and they ran the ball tough, and they run the ball physically. And, their attributes they're running it down the defense here. But, again, you're probably going to see a run here.
Herbstreit comes out in shotgun. Napier once again motion out to his left. Play action pass here. Quick strike across the middle. Near 1st down there before Asbeck was able to wrap up the receiver there.
More safe plays here, but they are going to try and score and try to ice this game here. That's definitely the mindset on the X sideline right now.
Brady Bennett once again on that gain as we have 2nd down and a little less than 1 from the looks of it on the way. 25-yard line of Firebirds territory. This could be it. This could be where St. Xavier puts away the ball game. This defense, what are we going to see from them try and hold strong?
Man, it's all a mental game now. It's all mental, and you got to have that grit. You got to have that toughness to stick through this and put your body on the line here.
Napier up the middle, instantly wrapped up. Does look like he lunges forward for the first after the fact, but he was hit hard by that initial defensive front.
Again, Napier and Britt have just ran the ball so hard, getting those extra yards, and that sets them up pretty good here with about 6:30 and running, as they will probably try to ice this one, either with running down the clock or trying to go for that touchdown.
St. X lining up at the Firebirds 24 as we approach the 6-minute mark here to play in the ball game. Herbstreit under center. Handoff to the left side. It's Napier. Gets up across the 20, makes a push for the 16-yard line.
I got to give some credit too to the X offensive line. This is a D1 caliber defensive line, 3-man front, and as well as Jacob Asbeck in the jack position that they have handled all night, and they've done a great job. And they get these pushes and they get those extra couple yards. It all adds up mentally, and physically, and on the stat sheet. It all adds up.
Jacob Asbeck, you mentioned the jack backer there. You couldn't really pick a better guy on this defense. I mean, a lot of guys kind of fit into that jack role. Of course, they call it the jack of all trades. He can kind of do it all. And that's exactly the kind of player that Asbeck is, and that's what he's going to be taking to Navy next season as that play blown up in the backfield.
Nice stop there by the nose. I believe that was Jonas. He really made his way in there right there.
Griffith, one of those new additions to the defense we were talking about earlier. Really one of the only two new faces alongside Finn Mason taking on that safety role. Finn actually, in the Lebanon playoff game, had a 2-interception game towards the end of the season last year. As that play also blown up at the line of scrimmage, 4th down on the way. Looks like St. X might stay out on the field for this, keep that clock going, and try and pick up this first.
Yeah, they are definitely going to stay out there and go for this and try to win the game right here. But again, this is the play of the game right here. This will probably decide it.
Nearing the 4-minute mark here, Herbstreit breaks the huddle. He'll lined up under center. Napier in the backfield. 2 out wide for the Bombers, 1 on each side. Herbstreit takes the snap. Play action, fakes to Napier. Great coverage on the left side for the Firebirds. Tipped ball, and that is right out of the hands of his receiver on that play, A.J. Golden. Golden listed as a linebacker on the St. X roster, coming in as a tight end there. It goes right through his hands. Turnover on downs once again for the St. Xavier Bombers. And you took a look at their 4th down numbers. They were 0 for 1 heading into this. Of course, it feels like more with all the big 3rd and 4th downs it feels like we've seen to this point.
Yeah. I mean, that play right there, that was he just dropped the ice. He just dropped the ice to the game, I guess. And they're going to give this offense a shot here. It's been a slow moving offense, but I mean they gotta find some urgency, and they really don't have a lot of time. They gotta hurry.
Smith takes a shotgun snap here, looks to throw, looks for Giovanni Wilson, and that is well off target, off the St. X sideline.
The pressure's been there all night. They've been in Jackson's face a lot, and as a true freshman coming in your first game, I mean, when you got Mitch back there, who's calm in the pocket, four-year player, 3-year starter, I mean, it's such a different look. And this is all a learning experience, from the O-line to the wide receivers to the backfield. This is all a learning experience.
3:50 remaining here. If there's a play that Jackson Smith is familiar with from his days in junior high, has to be the Hail Mary and the deep ball. We'll see that one intended for Junior Gonzalez, overthrown as well. 3rd and 10.
That was a great call right there. It's just execution. Execution wins and loses football games. And this is, I said it was the game before, but this is the game right here, this play.
So I got to ask, if you are in the mind of Coach Bolden and you look at the game that Jackson Smith has, do you chalk it up to nerves, or do you start to maybe question your decision at the quarterback battle?
It's both. Again, if they asked me to go play quarterback in this setting in my first game ever, I know there's a lot of hype surrounding him, but he's still a kid, and he's just like me, and it's just so tough. There's a nice little tackle there.
Out to Giovanni Wilson to the 20-yard line, 4th down, up and coming.
They gotta draw some route concepts up here. Maybe try and get somebody across the middle. Maybe try to get Luca across the middle. Maybe open up a lane down the sideline. Try to draw in the safety.
It was Jack O'Malley on the tackle there, the former quarterback of the Bombers. And the punt team will come out for the Firebirds. So it looks like Coach Bolden has conceded this game with a little over 3 minutes remaining.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, it's just been a tough night. And it was a slow moving game, but X definitely got the best of West tonight, and on the offense and defensive side of the ball. So here's the punt here.
Punt up and away. Crosses to about the 45-yard line. Return will get it into Firebird territory, and that will fall at about the 46-yard line. And we can linger on the performance of the offense and the youth that we've seen today, some of the mishaps. But, of course, any game, no matter how bad it goes, you can take away some positives. So I'll ask you, being the former player who's played with Coach Bolden, what have you seen today that we can at least focus on heading into next week, as that's very good performance from our squad?
I think the defense played a lot better than the scoreboard, than what the scoreboard says. This is an ex-offense that is very old in experience, and they've been able to shut them down pretty much the entire game. I mean, those 10 points. I mean, 10 points in a high school game. That's nothing, but that's zero. It just affects the score and how you see it. But I mean, again, the defense has just been excellent, especially the secondary in the second half.
And this is one of those moments you wish you could be a super senior in high school, bring back Mitch Bolden for a game just to see this matchup, because I firmly believe if this West offense wasn't going into game one with a freshman quarterback, maybe we'd be seeing an entirely different story here. I think it would still be coming down to the wire.
Absolutely.
Of course, we're not done with football yet this weekend on the Lakota West Student Broadcasting Channel. Tomorrow morning, bright and early, rise and shine, we've got some JV football for you, still taking on the St. Xavier Bombers. This one will be at the home of the Firebirds. We encourage you to tune into that stream, catch some more of the youth on this up-and-coming Lakota West football team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually pretty curious to see how they do tomorrow morning. We'll see. Early morning for a lot of them. I'll tell you what. I mean, I played a couple JV games. It's not fun waking up that early, but I mean, playing football, you're playing football, so I mean, you can't not love it,
We get a little break in the action here. So we do encourage you to tune into that game tomorrow morning. A new commentary crew, the future of Lakota West Student Broadcasting, will be seen as well. One of our camera operators tonight, Nico Stolenwerk, will be taking the mic on the play-by-play. And Andrew Odell, who is up here doing some of our scoreboard operations tonight, will be taking the analyst chair for that game. Maybe we'll surprise him and put a mic on him and see what their thoughts were on tonight's game. Game winds down here. Napier takes this run up the right side. Big break. Nearly gets to that first down marker on 2nd and 15.
Napier all day. I mean, again, I can just keep saying it. He's running with some intention, and he's running to run people over. He's a great back, and he's definitely got a bright future for sure. Once he gets past the high school level, I'm sure he'll go somewhere nice.
And we are seeing a little bit of gamesmanship here. The Firebirds still taking their timeouts after punting away the football on that big 4th down. Just kind of goes to show the competitiveness between these two coaches.
Oh yeah, they're going to compete till the last second, no matter what the score is, and that's kind of what they thrive on each sideline, and that's the motivation and the motto on each sideline as well. Is you're going to battle to the last whistle. I mean, that's high school football. That's these two legendary coaches. They never want to lose a minute in this. They never want to lose a snap really in a game like this.
3rd and 3 upcoming, 2 minutes, 20 seconds remain in the ball game. Bombers lead this one 10-0. Herb Street, pitch back, handoff to Napier, wrapped up about a yard behind the line of scrimmage. 4th down forced by this Firebirds defense. Timeout will be called.
Nice little swarm gang tackle right there by the defense. So always want to end off on a great note, especially defensively. Want to make a statement as there's a timeout by the Firebirds.
You got to wonder what we see from these Firebirds. They take the timeout, but the punt on the end of the last drive You got to wonder what's going through their minds here. You think they're going to run down the clock, or might we see some theatrics late?
You know, I don't know. I think the punt showed a faith in the defense and that they can get a turnover and they can get a quick stop, in which I would have done the same thing because, I mean, they've been pretty solid on screws all night long. And, yeah, I'm sure they're going to battle. They'll battle to the last second for sure. They'll try to probably get at least 3, you know.
Firebirds with their home opener against the Princeton Vikings next Friday. You got to wonder what maybe a change of scenery you get back in that Firebird field atmosphere. The band's playing, fight song on in the background. Students seem a little bit louder at home. Got to wonder what maybe that'll do for this team.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Can't wait to go back home.
Punt formation for St. X. Nobody back deep for the Firebirds here. Punt goes to the right sideline. St. X fans want another flag. Ball will be downed at the 20-yard line.
All right, these last 2 minutes here, this is going to show what kind of heart the Firebirds have here and how much faith they have in the offense here. They're going to give it their best. They're going to give it their best punch right here.
2 minutes, 7 seconds remain. As you put it, we'll see what their best shot is. Very curious to see the play calling here. Is this where maybe you try out some new stuff with the freshman quarterback? Or are you playing to win, or are you playing to learn?
Both. You know, I mean, you can't do that at this point. But I mean, again, he's gonna drop back here. You know,
Overthrown across the middle. That is one common theme we've seen today from Jackson Smith is the overthrow. If you're Coach Bolden and you're a couple of the offensive coaches for Lakota West and you're talking to Jackson in practice, how easy do you think that is to fix for next week?
it's tough. I mean, part of that is a connection with your wide receivers and knowing what they're going to do, and that's why experienced quarterbacks are so good and handy because that experience with those wide receivers, you know what they're going to throw.
Picked off. And that will just about do it. As if it wasn't decided before, St. X putting the final nail in the coffin there as we are under 2 minutes to play, and they will have the ball back around the 25-yard line.
That's just a tough play. Tough break.
Jack
after a tough
O'Malley.
game. Oh,
Jack O'Malley coming up with that one, if that's a familiar name. It's because that's the quarterback the West was going up against week 1 last year.
wow. How fitting.
The series will take a shift here. Firebirds 3, St. X 4. The first round in a while that the Bombers have come on top as victory formation is out for the Bombers.
It's just been a gritty game, to say the least. Both sides, they're throwing their best punches. X threw their best punch today, and unfortunately it just didn't fall in the Firebirds' hands, and it's going to happen. I know it doesn't seem likely because we have won a lot in the past, but, I mean, it's just, it happens. It happens.
The knees will keep coming for St. X as this one will go in the books. The Bombers 10, the Firebirds nothing. As it's just a waiting game at this point. I will say the Firebird student section, some have left early. Still a good portion of Firebirds out there.
Yeah, they're sticking around a little bit. They probably want to see their guys after the game, because we're all friends. We're all connected, and I'll definitely be going to say hi to a couple guys too.
I can speak from experience here, senior year. You cherish every second of high school football. I was cherishing it last year as a junior, especially with that team we had. And who knows all the question marks coming up this year. You just want to enjoy it while you have it, whether it's a winning team or not. It's the atmosphere that I think all of us can say we missed it dearly over the summer.
Yes, of course. I mean, fall's the best time of the year. You got your college football, you got high school football. It's all just an experience. I mean, everybody has to experience this.
There's the final knee under 40 seconds. That will do it. 10-0 our final score. We'll go ahead and take you out of here from RDI Stadium at St. Xavier High School. Like I said, we'll be back at it tomorrow. Nico Stolenwerk and Andrew Oda will be taking the mics for JV football. as we get a glimpse at the future of Lakota West football and a lot more of this youth that will be on the way. And we got a big week next week as well. Volleyball, our first volleyball stream ever on the channel, coming up on Monday. And we got soccer at home on Tuesday as well. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming streams. We'll go ahead and take you out of here for tonight. Win or loss, it's always fun to call Firebird football. So once again, I'm Nick Johnson. He's Jordan Houck alongside me. We thank you for watching. And no matter the score, as always, go Firebirds.